Welcome to Day 5, How to Develop Strategic Goals with Accountability, the Retail Solve Blueprint to teach you everything you need to know to confidently grow and scale your brand. Build a connected community of loyal evangelists and multiply your brand's impact, sales, and profits. If we're meeting for the first time, my name is Dan Lohman. I have had the privilege of mentoring and working with hundreds of brands, from pre-revenue to multi-billion dollars in sales. This is a culmination of the best strategies that are working today. I've spent years testing and perfecting them to save you valuable time and money while giving you the edge that you deserve. If you haven't done so yet, download the free 30-day guide to prosperity workbook at retailsolve.com/30-day workbook to help you get the most out of this brand building series. And go back and listen to all the episodes in the masterclass so that you don't miss anything. The strategies build upon each other in the order of the series. Please share these and help me raise the bar in natural. I want to take a moment and recap the last episode, how to set yourself up for success in business. On that episode, we talked about the importance of making sure that you're at your best, that you've got the right amount of energy and the right amount of focus to be successful. One of the biggest challenges entrepreneurs have is that distractions pull us in a lot of different directions, and we need to stay focused. We need to be able to say no to things that don't do anything to drive sales. We need to avoid distractions that do nothing more than just waste our time. That episode was focused on the strategies that you need to have in place so that you can be at your best every single day, including making sure you get enough rest, making sure that you're eating the right food so you get the proper nutrition, and making sure that you have a strategy to burn off that extra stress. For me, I like to ride my bike, and I shared an example of how taking my bike for a ride simply made the difference between being stuck on a project and hitting a home run. The result was dramatically helping a brand get distribution at Kroger at 1,900 stores. These are the strategies that I want to help you implement so that you can maximize each and every opportunity that you get in front of a customer and in front of a retailer. So now let's talk about goal setting. Goal setting is something that's not taught effectively in schools. For example, we were taught to set goals like I want to be a firefighter, or I want to be a school teacher or a cop or something like that. Very generic goals. The challenge with that is they don't help you achieve those goals. We need to be a lot more specific and a lot more strategic in the way we think about setting goals. For example, if your goal is to raise more money, well, here's $1. Now you have more money, so you've reached your goal. Now, I bet that that's probably not what you were thinking about. So you need to be able to ask intelligently. For example, if you want to be a millionaire, well, don't go ask someone that earns minimum wage. They're not going to be able to help you. You need to ask the people that have already achieved the goal. Think about the professionals that excel. Think about Olympic athletes, those professionals that achieve greatness. When they look for a coach, they don't just look for anyone in the yellow pages. They go find the best of the best of the best experts to help guide them and help them reach their goals. The analogy that I want you to think about is if you wanted to climb a mountain and you've never done it before, like Mount Everest or something like that, you're going to need a guide, someone who's already made their way up the mountain successfully. I want to be your Sherpa. I want to guide you and help you make sure that you achieve your goal. Make sure that you make it up the mountain, and then make sure that you make it back safely again. This is the key to goal setting, is find someone that can help you achieve your goals. A lot of times people, when they're thinking about goal setting, they recommend that you hang a picture of the thing that you want, or the thing that you're focused on, a new house, a fancy car, something like that. Well, it wasn't very effective for me. I know a lot of people that swear by that strategy, that believe that that is the single best strategy you can use. My wife came up with a creative idea recently. She created a mind movie for me. This is something I had never heard of or never considered before. It keeps me focused. It keeps me grounded. It keeps me pointing in the right direction and helps me move toward my goals. It includes a series of images and affirmations that help drive me toward my goal, the things that I want to accomplish. Using affirmations is a great way to help you achieve goals. In other words, talk about what you want to achieve as though you've already done it. I remember a great story years ago where a basketball team wanted to improve free throws. What they did is they had half of the people in a group practice free throws on a regular basis, every single day for several hours a day. And then they took the other half of the group and they had them imagine throwing the free throws in their mind. They had them imagine throwing the ball in and getting nothing but net. When they came together and they tested to see who was most successful, they found that the people who had imagined the success were actually doing better than the people who had practiced. And that makes a lot of sense to me because we don't always focus on what we need to focus on. A lot of times we end up psyching ourselves out. For example, a professional athlete that scores more goals or more points in any game. All of a sudden something happens and all of a sudden they can't play effectively. Another really good way to think about this or to illustrate it is if you're driving your car and you hit a patch of ice. Where you look, that's where the car goes. The challenge is that most of us look toward another car, toward a fence, or toward an embankment. So that's where we end up. However, professional stunt drivers and race car drivers will tell you that you want to look to where you want to be, to where you want the car to be, and not let fear distract you and make you think about how you're going to crash into another car or something else. This is something that everyone struggles with. You need to change your mindset and focus on where you want your goals to be, what do you want to achieve, and how do you want to set those goals. One of the best ways to do that is to establish SMART goals. SMART goals are objectives, tailored objectives that are very strategic. SMART stands for strategic, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. Let's break it down. Strategic. What is the overarching goal? What does that goal help you accomplish down the road? Why does that goal matter? For example, if you want to grow your brand by 5%, what does that mean you have to do? How many more stores do you need to have distribution in? How many more shelves do you need to maximize your sales in, reduce out of stocks, and make sure that you maximize every promotional opportunity? Next is measurable. How do you know if you've achieved your goal? How do you know if you're on track to achieve your goal? If you want to grow sales by 5%, well, you know exactly what you need to do. And you know exactly when you need to get sales in each one of those stores to achieve that goal. So when you're measuring your success, you're identifying whether or not you're behind or ahead of schedule, whether or not it's realistic that you're going to be able to achieve that goal. And for some reason, if you're not on track, you know what to do to fix it. You want to have goals that are attainable. You want to have goals that make sense, goals that are realistic. You want to be thinking about your goals in terms of what's reasonable within a year. For example, if you want to grow by 5%, how many more stores does that mean you need to be in? Saying that you're going to double or triple, quadruple sales, that's probably not attainable, and you don't want to set yourself up for failure. Realistic. You need to understand what's possible and what's not possible. You want to stretch yourself and you want to push yourself, but at the same time, you want to be realistic. What can you accomplish within a year? How many more sales can you achieve? How many more stores can you achieve? How much more volume do you need to be able to do that? For example, let's say that Costco called you up and said, hey, we want your product to be in our stores, but you don't take the time to think about whether or not you can support the volume. Well, what's going to happen is you may get into their stores, but because you can't support the volume, they'll kick you out and you're never going to get back in. And then timely. Think about what your goals are and break them down into bite-sized chunks. Again, if you're trying to grow your brand by 5%, which milestone or which benchmark do you need to hit and when do you need to hit it? Now you want to establish clear priorities and you want to bake them into your business plan. As I continue to talk about, your business plan should be so robust that anyone else could step into your business and run your brand on your behalf and in your absence. You need to revisit your business plan on a regular basis, and you need to be constantly adjusting it to adjust for anything that's going on in the environment. For example, if we were to have another pandemic or something like that, how you adjust and manage your business plan effectively is going to help you stay ahead of the competition and make sure that you've got all the assets and all the resources in place and activated to achieve your goals. As I mentioned, you need to set benchmarks. For example, if you're trying to reach a goal of increasing sales by 5%, what are those benchmarks? How do you know when you hit them? And they need to be clear, and everyone on your team needs to understand exactly what's expected. And that includes your broker, your distributor, everyone else. One of the best and most effective tools that you can use is a scorecard. That's something I talk a lot about on the podcast, various webinars, etc. A scorecard is perhaps the best project management tool. A scorecard will let you take your goal, break it down into bite-sized pieces, and then be able to delegate who's in charge of what. And then when you achieve your goal, or as you're working toward your goal, you can go back and look at how you're performing. Are you on track to achieve your goal? What do you need to do? How do you need to improve? All the things that you need to be focused on will be included in the benchmark. On the podcast webpage, I'll include a free guide that I created to help you understand how to maximize and use scorecards to your advantage. When you look at what people like Steve Jobs and Elon Musk have done, what they've achieved, they've done amazing things. And the reason they did amazing things is because they didn't hold back, because they dreamed big, because they dared to be audacious in their dreams and their goals. So the question is, what's holding you back? Why is it that you haven't achieved your goals yet? I'll bet that if you leverage the strategies that we're talking about here, they're going to help you more effectively reach your goals. Draw a line in the sand and don't look back. I remember the story about how Cortez burned the ships. The reason that story resonated is because once you make a decision, once you draw a line in the sand, you have to move forward. By moving forward and never looking back, that's one of the best ways to help reach your goals. For additional inspiration, listen to podcast episode Secrets 91, Justin Gould with Justin's, Disrupting a Category by Looking to the Future of Innovation. In this episode, we talk a lot about setting goals, and we talk a lot about the need for having strategic goals and how having strategic goals helped Justin become a big player in the category, how he disrupted the category because he had strategic goals and a vision to achieve them. Secrets 91, you're going to want to check it out. Then I recommend you listen to Secrets 117, Simple Solutions to Maximize Broker Effectiveness and Accelerate Sales Growth. In this podcast episode, I talk about how leveraging the strength of your broker and holding him accountable to maximize sales. The reason this matters is because I believe that you should decide the strategy, that you should manage the strategy within your brand, and then hold your broker partners accountable. In this podcast episode, I talk about the importance of having goals and having strategies, and then being able to leverage your internal and your external sales team to execute on your behalf. Secrets 117, Simple Solutions to Maximize Broker Effectiveness and Accelerate Sales Growth. Next, I'd like you to go back and watch one of the free webinars, Trade Marketing Goal Setting. You can't hit a target you don't aim for. You can get there by going to retailsolve.com/target. In this webinar, I talk about setting goals, and I talk about the importance of having goals, because if you don't have a target, then how do you reach them? We talk about everything in great detail that we talked about today. And more importantly, we talked about how you should use goal setting, strategic goal setting, to help you reach your trade marketing goal, to help you avoid wasted trade spending and maximize your trade marketing ROI. And then to take that to the next level, another webinar that I put together was how to plan and forecast sales in uncertain times. You can watch the replay at retailsolve.com/forecasting. In this webinar, I talk about the importance of goal setting. If you think about one of the most important things that you need to do in a business, it's planning and forecasting. How much product do you need to have available at all times to be able to support your sales? A lot of people will promote a product and they'll have out of stocks, and they'll blame everyone else but themselves because they ran out of product. That's your fault. That's your responsibility to make sure that the retailers have enough product to support the sales. Remember, any out of stocks embarrasses your retail partners, and it makes it difficult for them to say yes to your next promotion. If you want to be effective and you want a competitive edge, you need to know that you've got the right amount of product in every store to support your sales every single day, including when it's promoted and when it's not promoted. You're definitely going to check out how to plan and forecast sales in uncertain times. You can get to the webinar replay by going to retailsolve.com/forecasting. Tip of the day. Don't be afraid to have audacious, big dreams. Disruptive brands are leading key growth trends across every category. Use SMART goals to remain focused and on track. I recorded the video, which has illustrations and additional information that I can't share on the audio podcast. You can see that on the podcast webpage, and you can get there by going to brandsecretsandstrategies.com/session 231. In tomorrow's show, we'll talk about how to hire wisely to fill strategic skill gaps. This episode will build on today's conversation. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.